Item, myself and my friendly colleague Annemarie welcome you to this webinar. And just maybe a few organizational stuff before we start. My colleague Annemarie will answer your questions as soon and best as she can, and we would like that you post your questions just in the chat, and she will answer as soon as possible. And we'll collect all the questions. Maybe we don't answer all of them, and be sure that in the aftermath, actually, every question will be answered. Well, just a few things about my person. At first, well, my name is Thomas Hitzke. I'm 41 years old. And a couple of years ago, I studied mechanical engineering at the Technical University in Dortmund. And after a couple of professional stations at the Bosch company and ABB company, I am since Item now for 7 years. So I started in 2014. And what about the lean idea or the lean philosophy? I'm passionate really about it for over 20 years now. Well, it started during my studies, and the whole idea and the whole philosophy is really following me, and I'm following her just right up to today. For better performance in the presentation, I would like to disable my camera for now so that we have no technical problems, but I hope that you will hear me very good. Well, maybe my colleague Annemarie will also introduce herself before we get started. Annemarie, I don't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Annemarie. I've been working with Item for about 8 years right now, and I'll be happy to answer your questions if you have any during the webinar. Just post them in the chat, as Thomas said. And if I can't answer the questions, or if the questions are interesting for everybody, I will give them to Thomas at the end of the webinar. So enjoy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Annemarie. Yeah, enjoy. In this webinar, what will you learn? What will you get to know? Actually, I want to discuss two things mainly. The one thing is what lean production is about. I will give a brief summary of it. And the most important part of this webinar will be then what you should do when you design the introduction of lean in your specific companies. The agenda for now is actually that we start with, I give you a brief overview, well, at least what lean production is about. And the second point will be what challenges actually we are involved all when we are rolling out lean in our companies. And one major point will be also what about training of staff with the Item Academy, and how you can generate additional motivation through certification. Well, then let's start with lean production at a glance. What is actually the idea behind it? What are the benefits? I don't want to read a novel to you right now, but during the last, let's say, 20 years, I generated my own definition, because there are so many different definitions existing out there in different books, in the internet, and so on. And nearly every person which has a contact to the lean philosophy has its own definition. And I want to share actually my definition with you, which are mainly 2 points which characterize the lean philosophy. The first main idea is actually to gain an edge with short throughput times. So the grandmaster of lean, Taiichi Ohno, which is also called the father of the lean production, he already said a couple of years ago when he lived all we are doing is looking at the timeline from the moment the customer gives us an order to the point when we collect the cash. And we are reducing the timeline by removing the non-value added wastes. And this gives us a pretty good hint that it's all about short throughput times. And so in speaking with other words, actually one idea in Lean is to really, streamline the processes to bring them all into the flow. And because your opponents or other companies get better and better all the time, it is not enough to be as good as yesterday, but it is really very important to improve your processes continuously. And that's the second big idea behind Lean production. What are the benefits? Well, actually, short throughput times fit better to current dynamic markets because the customer today is not like the customer 50 years ago, which doesn't really change his requirements frequently or very often. And that's why actually when you have short throughput times, you have a higher flexibility. And that's why you can better deliver in dynamic markets, which really where the customer changes his requirements from day to day. Sometimes the customers are also prepared to pay higher prices for faster delivery, for example, because when you imagine that you reduce the time from that the customer places his order to the moment that you collect the cash, then you can, of course, faster deliver your products or services to the customer. And that's why customers which, for example, are working in project management environments, they prefer to always be on time, and maybe they also pay then higher prices for a faster or on-time delivery. That's why while the customer satisfaction actually rises through Lean, can imagine that you gain more and more customers, and that's why your market share also increases and growth is generated. Maybe you ask yourselves now, well, only looking at the timeline, is that correct? What about quality, costs, or other things? I want to give you an example. Well, when you look at the timeline and you really streamline processes and make them better and better, then you also other points like quality and costs improve. Well, to give you an example, quality, for example, you have a bad product produced and you have to rework it. And that's of course a bad quality of your product, but that also generates some rework, which just takes time. And that's why also the timeline or the throughput time increases. And what about costs? Well, studies have shown that if you reduce throughput times by 90%, then also your costs will automatically go down by around 30%. So, well, Lean is not a cost-cutting strategy, but ultimately and in the end, it reduces costs also. Well, I can tell you something about my past, my experiences, but maybe you want to have two impressive examples how successful Lean implementations do take place. And I have two examples, one from USA and one from Germany, actually, two different companies. And I want to show you that the Lean idea does not only work at Toyota, it does not only work in Japan, but of course also in other countries and for other companies. The first company I want to introduce to you is Wiremold, which produces cable management systems. And they started to introduce Lean in the 1990s. And the throughput time was then there for a product between 4 and 6 weeks. With all the Lean philosophy, with all the methods and the idea behind it, they were able to reduce the throughput time by over 90% in the year 2000 to 2 hours to 2 days. So it's a reduction of over 90%. And what did also take place is also an important figure considering lean is the inventory turnover. So the measure of how often a company's warehouse stock is sold within a given period. And that's a significant rise from 3.4 inventory turnovers per year in 1990 to 70 inventory turnovers in the year 2000. And of course, these are figures which characterize the processes. And what about the money output? Yeah, the sales. Well, sales rose or quintupled nearly. They rose by 4.5 times, and went from 100 million in 1990 to $450 million in the year 2000. Okay, that's one of the impressive examples. I have another one, which I want to share with you. And that's the company Porsche. Well, Porsche was today is a famous car manufacturer, which is located in Germany. And maybe you already know, but in the 1990s, Porsche was nearly bankrupt, and they were really, they were really in need of better processes to generate growth again. And what happened at Porsche? They started to introduce lean in the 1990s. And when you look at the figures, then the sales rose from 3.4 billion euros in 1996 to 16.2 billion euros in 2013. And that's also a rise by 4.5 times, and which is really impressive between 1996 and 2013. And yeah, what happens today, or what happened until today, from 2013 and to 2020, the figure also almost doubled, which is very impressive. Yeah, that's not a linear growth, but that's almost more exponential growth. And so the figures which show here are very good. And what about the throughput times? Let's have a look at the diagram. What happened there? The diagram is showing actually the throughput time for the Porsche 911 between 1991 and 2011. And through continuous improvement of the processes, they realized really within 10 years, they realized that the throughput time went down by 75% between 1991 and 2011 for the 911. And well, the throughput time sank rapidly, the sales grew enormously. Today, Porsche is one of the most profitable car manufacturers in the world. And I think these two examples, Wire-Mold from USA and Porsche from Germany, they show really impressively that that lean does not only work for Japanese or companies or in the Japanese environment, but also works in Europe and also works in the US, by the way. I want to show you one additional diagram which shows the headcount development at Porsche between 2010 and 2020. When you compare the headcount in 2010 to the headcount in 2020, then it almost rises by 200%. And I don't want to explain you the diagram further now, but you will soon see why I'm showing you this slide. And when we look actually at the challenges involved in rolling out lean. Well, actually, there are three key ingredients which make a good lean implementation. The first and most important one is surely commitment of your leadership. and when you don't have any commitment from leadership, then you can be sure that your lean implementation will soon fail. The second important ingredient is really a good training of your employees, that they realize what lean is about and how lean is affecting their daily work life. And the third ingredient is consistent and systematic implementation. I don't want to talk about commitment of your leadership because ETAM can't help you with that. And of course, you need a systematic implementation and consistent, really work by lean experts that introduce the lean philosophy in your company. But what we can help you with is giving you good training, because what happens if there is a lack of a good training, and if there's incorrect knowledge transfers to employees? Well, the people, they have the internet. Almost everyone today has internet. And of course, the main source of knowledge is Google. And at least when you use the German Google site and you search for lean production, on the very first page of Google, this kind of information is presented to you. It is written here in German. On the right-hand side, you see the translations. And what is it about? Well, it says that lean production is about manpower reduction, is about cost cutting, and is about automation of processes. So, in other words, to say getting rid of people. Yeah. And let me ask you a question, maybe. When you were the worker or the employee of your company, and somebody would introduce lean, and you have read about that it's about manpower reduction and cost cutting and automation of processes, would you be really, would you really like this idea? Okay, you can think about it. When we are rolling out lean, we have some challenges to face. In the conventional way, it means that in-person training courses have to be given by maybe some lean experts who have a lot of knowledge in this field. And we have actually three types of challenges. One, of course, is the available room. Yeah, for example, if you want to train as many as possible employees over a given period, and you can surely realize that if your room is only designed for 20 participants, then if you want to train 100, that could surely be a problem for you. The other really important problem is time. The capacities of such a lean expert to train workers in your maybe home country, or later globally thinking also in other factories all over the world, and surely time is a pretty important capacity. And the other things is just organizationally, that you don't have for every man, there is not one lean expert, but maybe you hired a lean expert for 50 or 100 employees in your company, and for sure the lean experts are not that many in the company. And also the capacity for some journeys to other countries also, it's also pretty difficult, to be organized. We at ETAM have maybe found the right answer to these challenges, because I want to show you a possibility of training your employees in a different way, so that, for example, especially during times of pandemics and so on, you can provide them also with the right trainings. So what about training staff with the ETAM Academy? To show you that, I would like to give you a little introduction or a little tour through the ETEM Academy, actually. The ETEM Academy is an online platform with which ETEM generated, let's say, 2 or 3 years ago. And it is free of charge and works with nearly any device that you have, and is available in 7 languages, which is German, English, Spanish, French, Italian, Polish, and also in Chinese. And okay, I don't want to talk too much. I will show you just how you can reach the Academy and what secrets we have hidden inside it. Okay, when you navigate to the ETEM homepage, at first, what you have to do, if you do not already have a etem24.com account, you can surely navigate to the ETEM homepage, and here under login on the upper right side, you can register yourself at this point here. So you create your free account, and then you can actually navigate through product world and trainings. You can go here to the ETEM Academy. When you navigate to the ETEM Academy, the internet address is academy.etem24.com. At first, you are asked from what country you are navigating to here, and that's pretty important because it depends on which country you select. The right language will be selected also. Yeah. So, for example, you log off here in Poland, then, which is my home country actually, then you will get all the things in Polish. Okay, but I don't want to show you the Polish things, but maybe we just switch to English, and that's what it looks like when you visit the ETEM Academy. You have a news area here on the top, yeah, where you can really recognize which modules do we have published in recent times. And we have free formats which we present to you. One of that is online training courses, which I would talk to you about. The other one is installation guides, which are step-by-step tutorials, how to assemble and use ETEM products. And the third category is actually practical tips. These are really short and really, yeah, very important tips which show you in a very kind of practical manner how to be more elegant with our products and how to handle them easier. But let's have a look at the online training courses and what ETEM is offering you there. When you look at this, there are pretty a lot of topics which we cover, like automation or belt conveyor technology, digital tools, ergonomics, lean philosophy. And I want to show you what we have here in the lean philosophy area. We have since now 7 modules, which for every module you need about 20 to 45 minutes time to really absolve it. And there is a kind of order in these modules. So you should start with lean production basics, then go to value stream mapping, then go to value stream design, push and pull, one-piece flow, assembly line design, and visual management. I don't want to show you too much, but maybe I open a module for you that you can have a brief look at what it looks like to value stream mapping, for example. As you see, the module is in English. There's some information before you start it. Exactly. And usually when you introduce Lean, then one of the first steps is really mapping a value stream. And this module really helps you to get the knowledge about value streams and how you are able to draw together with your employees a value stream map of your factory. Yeah, and you can navigate with this arrows here down, but you have also this this menu here where you can go to the particular parts. For example, the symbols and structure of a value stream. You get to know really the basic symbols, the material flow symbols, the information flow symbols, the basic structure of a value stream. And yeah, and I don't want to show you too much, but just briefly what you can do yeah, with the modules in the ETAM Academy. One important question maybe that you have is how can you generate motivation within your staff to absolve this training modules? And some people prefer maybe to get paid, but I don't think that's the right motivation always, because usually when you give some people the pay rise, it won't be of yeah, lasting effect. Maybe the better way is to use our certification process in the ETAM Academy, which we have. I want to show you where you can find it. You navigate to the ETAM Academy site. And then on the left-hand side, you find the button certification. And all these courses which I have shown you, except of visual management, are contained in a certification path. We have different certifications. Actually, for the customer, we have the ETAM Certified Engineer certification and the ETAM Certified Technician certification. The one is actually, yeah, mainly for engineers and planners, and the other one, the technician, is mainly for, let's say, people who really work with the ETAM products. Where do you find the Lean certification? We don't have a specific or separate Lean certification, but the modules beginning with Lean Basics and ending with assembly line design are hidden in the ETAM Certified Engineer workbench system certification, which you find under ETAM Certified Engineer, of course, and then you navigate here to workbench system. Yeah, when you open it, there you have to join. Yeah, and then you go here for the contents and the exam. So not only that you really can absolve all the contents regarding Lean production here in the Academy, but you can also absolve an exam, and you need around 65% of the points that you reach to get really a paper form certificate, which you see here, or don't see because I didn't switch my camera on, but I do it now. Yes, this is a Lean certificate which you get when you absolve the content successfully.